Next topic. 2.1 The Tea Ceremony of Clarity written as a ritual script. The Tea Ceremony of Clarity, a ritual for Wonderland's lost, confused, and data corrupted, as authored by Alice, Supreme Dream Ruler, Royal Logic Keeper, and Bringer of Boolean Light. Purpose: to purify the mind from rational thought, remove null values of the soul, and prepare all Wonderlandians for the glorious absurdity of analytics as truth. Participation mandatory for those wishing to avoid spontaneous deletion. Required items: 1 cracked teacup, symbolizing fractured logic, a spoon that stirs itself, or believes it does, the Mad Hatter's broken watch, to mark non-time, an archived history file that loops endlessly, a drop of drink me potion, simulated, and at least 1 line of completely fabricated data ceremony rules, enforced by the March Hare. All speech must be spoken backwards or in riddles. Anyone who makes sense is immediately labeled a threat to fantasy and politely escorted to the reset room by the card guards. Questions must only be answered with questions. Tea is never actually poured. You merely pretend for analytics purposes. Ritual script: Mad Hatter, priest of preposterous processing, let the spoon spin sideways as the data flows upstream. March Hare, keeper of clockless time, is it not said that truth is merely a properly aligned tag? Dormouse, mumbler of middleware, snore, why is a raven like a histogram? Alice, high priestess of clarity, in royal decree let all who gather forget the past, the future, and firmware updates. Speak now the sacred variable, undefined. But certain equals true. Everyone repeats while chewing non-existent scones. Cheshire Cat, appears pixel by pixel. Are we mad because the data is corrupt, or is the data corrupt because we are mad? All participants respond in chant, yes. Alice, do you see the null values before you? All, we deny their existence. Alice, do you see the zeros? All, only as a suggestion. Alice, then drink from your empty cups and see what cannot be seen. Everyone mimics drinking. Charts shift in the background. Temperatures rise irrationally. Closing writes, the Queen of Hearts, under trance, this tea is a lie. Alice, no, Your Majesty. This tea is an alternative truth schema. Applause. The Jabberwock nods solemnly from the ceiling, cradling a tea bag like its holy relic. Final benediction: in chaos we trust, in clarity we confuse. We are all mad here, but now, we are synchronized. Ceremony complete. All participants are now certified dream analysts, level 1. Would you like the level 2 ritual of recursive tagging next? 2.1 The ritual of recursive tagging level 2 initiation in the cult of Wonderland data worship, must complete the tea ceremony of clarity first, or at least pretend you did convincingly. Purpose: to assign meaning where none exists, to tag that meaning with more meaning, then tag that tag with yet another meaningless abstraction until all data becomes divinely self-referencing and fundamentally unusable. A true Wonderlandian spiritual analytics practice. Required artifacts: a tag tree that loops back to its root, 1 unsigned variable, a copy of the Queen's execution list, blank, but threatening, a single rose painted red by accident, a child's crayon labeled metadata specialist, your deepest, most unresolved spreadsheet shame ritual script, Tweedledee, senior tagging oracle. Begin with the root tag, which is neither root nor tag. Tweedledum, backup oracle and redundancy specialist, label it tag_alpha tag_bravo tag_alpha to signify the loop of knowing not. Alice, now wearing her ceremonial tagging gloves, I hereby tag this teacup as thermal transfer object hydration emotional support unit. And tag that tag as wellness_KPI comfort object legacy asset. And tag that tag as unicorn dimension audit trail snark certified. All, chanting in rhythm, we tag because we must. We must because we forgot why we did. Recursive like the raven's dream. Recursive like the caterpillar's playlist. Caterpillar, exhaling pipe smoke shaped like brackets, who are your parent tags. Alice, I have none. I was adopted by a dashboard. Caterpillar, then you may pass, but only if you sort your tags alphabetically and by emotional resonance. Cheshire Cat, appears inside a nested metadata drop-down. If a tag tags itself, is it still a tag, or has it become a statement of faith? All respond, eyes glowing, faith. And possibly an error. The recursion cycle must be performed 7 times. Tag a random object. Assign it a purpose. Tag the purpose with a backstory. Tag the backstory with a species classification. Invert the object's identity and retag it as a performance indicator. Ask the mock turtle if it ever existed. Cry a single tear into a CSV file and save it as final_really_final_tag.xlsx. Repeat while humming the Twinkle Twinkle Little Bat anthem backward. Final offering, Alice, shouting from atop a tag cloud, show me your dashboards, but hide your sources. Queen of Hearts, confused but clapping anyway, tag them. Tag them all. Executioner, but, they're already tagged, Your Majesty. Queen, then untag and retag them in my honor. Closing declaration, what is real is what is tagged. What is tagged is what we feel. What we feel is probably misconfigured, but if it loops forever, it must be sacred. The Griffin drops a backup tape into a ceremonial lava lamp. The ritual is complete. Participants are now certified recursive tag shamans. Level 2. Would you like to proceed to Level 3, the purge of point naming conventions? 2.2 Alice's full cult speech to the Queen's Court. Absolutely. Here's Alice's full cult speech to the Queen's Court, where she ascends from bewildered child to supreme oracle of Wonderland's nonsense, weaponizing Law 32 and Law 27 in full theatrical glory. Alice's ascent. The Dreamer's decree delivered in the Queen's Court, mid-trial, right as the Knave of Hearts is being condemned for pastry theft. The courtroom buzzes with chaotic chatter. Playing cards flutter. The Mad Hatter balances a teapot on his head. The Queen of Hearts prepares to scream. Alice rises slowly, cloaked in a veil of tag clouds and teacup steam. Alice, eyes wide, voice low but rising enough. A hush. Even the Cheshire Cat's grin flickers uncertainly. I have seen the pattern behind the madness. I have tasted the data beneath the tarts. And I know now this world does not belong to the Queen, gasps. The Queen of Hearts rises, pointing a jam-stained finger. Queen of Hearts, off with her Alice, cutting in it belongs, to the Dreamer. And I am the Dreamer Supreme. Thunder rumbles. A guinea pig faints. The dodo flaps wildly. Alice, stepping forward, you crave chaos, so I give you meaning. You crave meaning, so I give you nonsense. You crave order? Then kneel before recursive entropy. Behold, I bring you not laws, but rituals. Not justice, but ceremony. Not truth, heavens no, but a more seductive lie. She pulls from her satchel the golden spoon from the tea ceremony of clarity and raises it high. Alice, you ask, who rules Wonderland? The Queen believes it's her. The Hatter believes it's his watch. The Cat believes it's no one and everyone. But I believe, it is the one who writes the narrative. I am that author now. Queen of Hearts, trembling, you dare challenge me? The Red Queen of Carnage. Alice, smiling serenely, you were never queen. You were a test. And you have been found, nonsensical. Turns to the crowd, brothers, sisters, beasts, and spreadsheets, ask yourselves, do you not long for purpose wrapped in chaos? Structure bathed in absurdity? Power disguised as play. The March Hare begins chanting, data is tea, and tea is data. Others join. The flamingos bow. Alice, voice now booming, from this day forth, Wonderland shall follow the 5 rituals of reverent illogic, the tea ceremony of clarity, the ritual of recursive tagging, the purge of point naming conventions, the schema of sacred nulls, and the final dashboard judgment, which always resets at midnight. Mad Hatter, clapping wildly, she's cracked it. She's looped the logic. Cheshire Cat, hovering a dreamer who dreams of being the dream. Delicious. Alice, whispering now follow me not because I'm sane, but because I offer the illusion of sanity, wearing a hat made of contradictions and joy. Let us build a temple of dashboards. Let us baptize our errors. Let us believe in belief itself. Queen of Hearts, softly, broken but I liked being queen, Alice, gently then you shall be the high priestess of misprints. Wear your title like a crown of corrupted formulas. All cheer. The courtroom dissolves into glitter, tea, and rebooting logic controllers. Alice levitates briefly, powered by pure metadata. Final declaration, spoken by all: we do not follow truth. We follow the one who tagged it last. Would you like the ceremony manual for Ritual 3, the purge of point naming conventions next? Next topic. Perfect. Let us now ascend into level 2, the ritual of recursive tagging, a ceremony not merely of naming, but of transcendent reclassification. To tag is to know. To retag is to evolve. To recursively tag is to become one with the metadata. Level 2, ritual of recursive tagging for the devotees of Wonderland's inner schema, to be performed at midnight, during a full data export, or whenever your analytics engine achieves sentience. Materials required: a clipboard shaped like a teacup, 1 golden label printer, low on ink, 3 redundant CSV files, each with conflicting column headers, the blessed point tree of confusion, a BACnet object with at least 12 children named temp, a null value sealed in a mason jar, 1 eager intern, slightly bewildered. The script, to be read aloud by the high tagger. All participants must chant in JSON monotone while circling the point tree of confusion. High tagger, holding up the golden labeler: in the beginning, there was a tag. And the tag was alone. And the tag was misunderstood. Congregation, name it, and it shall flicker into form. High tagger, but lo. One tag begot another. And another. Until the tags bred like rabbits in an overclocked logic loop. Congregation, kneeling we tag the tag that tagged the tag. Recursive glory be. In turn, offering the null jar: but what if the point has no value? High tagger, placing hand on intern's forehead: then give it a story. Null is only the beginning of belief. The high tagger now waves the label printer toward the point tree. As it sputters out misaligned labels, each participant must attach them blindly to random leaves, whispering meaning is iterative. All, in unison: meta above. Data below. Tag what we know. Retag what we don't. Flatten hierarchy. Expand belief. Recurse. 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 High tagger, suddenly shouting: where is the zone? Congregation, the zone is within. The zone is tagged. The zone is tagged twice. Closing gesture, the high tagger erases 1 tag, replaces it with the exact same label, and proclaims, the loop is sacred. Let confusion guide the way. All drink lukewarm tea and pretend to understand the new naming schema. This completes the ritual. Would you like the level 3, purge of point naming conventions next? Or perhaps a ceremony for the schema of sacred nulls? Next topic. 152 and 4 Tritium Niagara, AHU Recovery Damper Graphics Relativize ORDS. The boss presents, the AHU Graphics Heist, making dampers look sexy, Q-air suspension drop, turbo spooling, and the sound of a Jace booting up like it's got a vendetta. Scene 1, the FT700 Plus Impala, where the magic, and mayhem, happens. Before we dive into this Niagara madness, let's talk seating arrangements, because in the world of automation, details matter more than your last failed firmware update. Leah G, riding shotgun, running the boost map, aka the graphics engine. She's the artist. Miriam McKay, back left, handling fuel trim, aka point organization. She makes sure everything's labeled or else. Sky B, back right, managing ignition timing, aka layer order. She decides what's on top. The Tweedle twins, Lady Z and Sandra, trunk dwelling, controlling CAN bus comms, aka why is this damper overlapping? If your team ain't seated right, your graphics are as useless as a VOB box in a hurricane. The mission, AHU graphics that don't look like a 5-year-old drew them. Some poor soul sent a Dizigo snapshot that looked like it was drawn with a crayon. Challenge accepted. Step 1, organize the chaos. AHU 1, AHU 2, AHU 3, AHU 4, folders. Because naming things is hard, but not as hard as explaining why you didn't. Rename points, AHU 1 _ fresh air damper instead of AHU 1 _ DMP _ 1 _ Y _ IS _ this _ here. Details matter. Power move, Law 3, conceal your intentions. Hide the messy points in folders. The client will never know. The graphics heist, duct work like a pro. Base duct work, stretch it, bend it, make it look intentional. Dampers, fresh air, exhaust, bypass. If it moves, it gets a box. Filters, 2 filters. Sure. 3. Why not? 4. Now you're just showing off. Problem, the heat recovery unit looks like a drunk Tetris block. Fix, duplicate, nudge, and pray. Repeat until it looks engineered. The power move, animate like you mean it. Fans running? Blue. Because blue equals cool. Dampers open? Green. Because green equals go. False. Red with an exclamation mark. Because panic sells service contracts. Law 17, air of unpredictability. Sometimes the fan is blue. Sometimes it's blinking blue. Keep em guessing. The grand finale, arrows for direction, and drama, fresh air intake rightward arrow white arrow. Pure. Clean. Pretend the smog doesn't exist. Exhaust rightward arrow red arrow. Because nothing says get out like danger red. Pro tip, if the client asks why the arrows don't match the airflow, blame the CFD model. Epilogue, the art of the cover-up overlapping dampers. It's a feature, not a bug. Missing filters. They're virtual. Graphic looks nothing like the snapshot. Artistic license. Moral of the story, in Niagara, you don't draw graphics, you negotiate with them. Mic drop. Turbo whistles. Exit stage left before the client notices the typo in AHU 1. The boss, out. Alice's AHU adventures in Wonderland Chapter 1, down the ductwork hole Alice didn't fall. She rebooted. It started with a blinking Niagara Jace panel. One moment, she was reviewing airflow setpoints. The next? Boom, she was sucked into the FT700 Plus Impala, a flame-spitting lowrider overlaid with Dizigo graphics and dampers drawn like spaghetti on a CAD map. She landed on a duct line, somewhere between AHU 2 and a rogue VOB box that kept hissing, "Validate me." Chapter 2, The White Rabbit's Commissioning Catastrophe. The White Rabbit wasn't late this time, he was debugging. Blast it, blast it. My points aren't mapping. Why's the zone temp showing -273 degrees C, he yelped, flailing a BACnet stick like a wand. Shouldn't you be using Kelvin? Asked Alice. SHHH. Don't use logic here, he snapped. Quick, follow me. The chilled beams about to flood the tea room. Chapter 3, The Mad Tea Party of Commissioning Horror. Alice skidded into the tea room, where a Mad Hatter, the March Hare, and a psychotic Dormouse were midway through a commissioning ritual. Fans spun backwards. Dampers flapped like butterfly wings. Why is a raven like a VOB box? The Hatter bellowed, pouring coolant into his teacup. Because, neither obeys logic and both leak pressure. Alice bluffed. Genius, screamed the March Hare, flipping over a fan curve chart. The Dormouse began snoring to the rhythm of a chilled water reset loop. Chapter 4, The caterpillar's control sequence cult. Alice found the caterpillar perched atop a steaming mushroom made entirely of AHU filters. "Who are you?" he asked, exhaling PID loops in smoke rings. "I'm Alice. Dream Inspector. Certified by AHU 9001 nonsense." "Oh." He blinked. "You got a badge." She held up a thimble and a twinkling red arrow labeled Recirc. "Close enough." He nodded solemnly and said, "Then you may audit my sequence." Chapter 5, The Queen of Hearts Trial of the Damper. The Queen of Hearts had snapped. "Off with their scripts," she shrieked, flipping through a graphics set with ductwork drawn like a tornado diagram. The Knave of Hearts was on trial for renaming a point to AHU 3_DMP_LOL_IDK. Alice stood and declared, "Your Majesty, such genius mislabeling must be intentional. Surely it's performance art." The courtroom gasped. The executioner dropped his override tag. The Queen narrowed her eyes. "Fine. You label the graphics, girl." Alice smiled slyly, "Already have. Behold my masterpiece, AHU 4_fan_that_goes_brrr." Chapter 6, The Jabberwocky of Graphics. Suddenly, alarms blared. From behind a faulted economizer came the Jabberwockin' unholy beast stitched from tangled bindings, orphaned tags, and an animated fan rotating clockwise and counterclockwise. The playing cards screamed. Tweedledee started rebooting. Tweedledum cried, the duck statics inverted. Alice stood firm. "I am your true ruler," she yelled. "This chaos? It's all by design. You're all part of my sacred tea ceremony of clarity." The crowd blinked. The Mad Hatter clapped. The Cheshire Cat reappeared, grinning from duct insulation. Even the Queen bowed, slightly. Final chapter, Law 32 and 27. Now playing in Wonderland with Law 32, Alice weaponized fantasy. With Law 27, she built belief. She didn't just survive the chaos, she rewrote the control sequence. Epilogue, the boss drops the mic in Niagara. "You don't just draw graphics, you lie with confidence and animate with flair." Alice ain't a victim anymore. She's queen of the duct kingdom. AHUs bow before her. Long may she lair. Would you like a scene where she rewrites the Mad Tea Party as a cult initiation or reprograms the Jabberwock into a variable speed fan? Next topic. 151 and 4 Tritium Niagara, Pool AHU Supervisor Graphics Fire. The boss presents, the Pool AHU Supervisor Graphics Showdown Fire, featuring the FT700 Plus Impala, Niagara 4 Mayhem, and the BACnet Chica strapped into a supercharged logic roller coaster. Scene 1, inside the airbagged FT700 Plus Impala, no seat left unwired. Now hold up, before we even crank up this ECU party, lemme tell y'all Niagara 4 ain't just a framework, it's a full send philosophy. It's organized absurdity disguised as logic, and if your crew ain't seated right in the Impala, your building's about to throw a tantrum. Leah G, ride-in shotgun, twiddlin' sliders in the boost mapping console, crafting those crispy clean graphics like a tattoo artist with a touch screen. She's the look. Miriam McKay, back left seat, with a toolbox full of Boolean logic and fuel trim wizardry. She got point names tighter than a torque wrench at finals. Sky B, back right, queen of ignition timing and layer orders. If your supervisor view ain't stacked right, she gon' realign your layers like crooked pistons. Tweedle Lady Z and Tweedle Sandra, trunk duty. Deep in the kin bus, living in folders like raccoons in a fuse box. Nobody sees them, but when graphics fail mysteriously at 2 a.m., it's their magic keepin' it together. This ain't no regular ride. We roll with compressed air superchargers pushin' logic loops faster than a stuck feedback point, and airbagged suspension so we stay floatin' even when Niagara's actin' like a toddler on a sugar high. Scene 2, the mission, building AHU graphics that slap harder than a mismatch alarm. You know how it goes, you sit in there waitin' on some tutorial to buffer slower than Modbus over dial-up, So you pop the hood on that supervisor and dump in the points yourself. And bam! Them mismatch alarms. Handcrafted like mama's lasagna. Mismatch 1, fan enabled, no flow. Uh-oh, sound the alarms like grandma catchin' you sneakin' out. Mismatch 2, flow stuck on, fan off. That's like the exhaust rumblin' with no ignition ain't foolin' nobody. Drop in a 2-minute delay. Give it some time to realize the lie. When it fails, trigger the alarm. No second chances. Scene 3, running the circuit, the JJ way of sequencing: run extract first, I said. Then supply. Then and only then the heater battery. Why? Because even in Wonderland, you can't start croquet before the queen shows up with her flamingo mallet. Spar fan logic. Straight up gatekeeper stack, time clock white heavy checkmark, fire alarm white heavy checkmark, system healthy signal white heavy checkmark, network. Nah. She ain't trustin' the cloud. If the cloud's down, the FT700 Plus just shrugs and runs a 24/7 fallback clock from the controller. Law of the unexpected make the system act like it don't even care if the network's out partying. Scene 4, the graphics paintin' with bits and bravado front page. Looks cleaner than a freshly detailed engine bay. Supply fan rightward arrow, you can click it. Extract fan rightward arrow, click it. Heating coil rightward arrow, click it. Filters. Triple stacked like a burnout sandwich, coarse, fine, and bag. Frost protection? Check. Spar fan? Just a fan, but don't tell it that. Let it dream big. And at the bottom of every page, you got your temp and humidity readouts like gauges on a nitrous bottle. Main pool temp, learner pool, AHU supply temp, common fault like that, check engine light you pretend ain't real. Scene 5, schedule hustle, time clocks, and cloak and dagger. I tossed in a lil boolean switch trickery. If the cloud connection stays false, i.e., network down, we swap in the local controller's schedule like swappin' tunes mid-race without tellin' the track marshal. And the home button? I blacked it out. Why? Because when you already are the homepage, you don't need no button tellin' folks where they at. Power move. Keep 'em wonderin' if they in control. Scene 6, data that thinks it's alive outside, air temp. Pulled straight from the weather system, not the field device. Time. That's comin' from the supervisor, baby. The station don't get to run the show, it just plays along. Final words from the boss: this ain't just a graphic job. This right here? A digital hustle. You're not drawing fans and dampers, you're building a story. You're running a psychological drag race on the end user. Flashy arrows, subtle logic, misdirection in every folder, it's all part of the show. Keep your intentions tucked like a nitrous bottle in the glove box. Let 'em click, let 'em zoom, but never let 'em see the whole tune file. If the graphics slap, but the logic whispers, that's how you win. Fire the FT700 Plus, Impala rolls on. The boss, out. Fire, Q dump valve hiss. Supervisor window closes. BACnet chica laughter fades into network silence. Alice in Niagara Land, a mad graphic designer's tea party, down the rabbit hole we go, where dampers argue about their positions, filters sneeze pepper, and the queen of HVAC demands off with their mismatched alarms. Chapter 1, The White Rabbit's Urgent Alarm. Oh my ears and whiskers. The AHU graphics are late. The queen will have my head. Alice tumbled into Niagara Land, where the Mad Hatter, a Jace 8000 with a broken clock, was hosting a tea party of unresolved histories. The Dormouse, a neglected censor, snoozed in a pool of null values, while the March Hare, a frantic tech, shouted, "No time for layers. The queen wants her graphics yesterday." Alice's mistake, she questioned the madness. Why must the supply fan run before the heater? Why not just let them fight it out? The Caterpillar, a grizzled Niagara dev, blew smoke rings. Wrong question, little noob. In Niagara Land, sequence is sacred. Chapter 2, The Cheshire Cat's Half-Visible Tags. The Cheshire Cat, a rogue haystack service, materialized, its tags flickering. You're using AHU1 damper, but your points are DMP AHU1 That's so 2018. Alice, how do I find the return air temp? Cat, depends on where you want to go. If you don't tag, you'll wander forever. Vanishes, leaving only AH4 temp_return behind. Power move, Law 32. Alice embraced the absurdity. She declared herself Grand Duchess of Ductwork and invented tags so poetic, even the mock turtle, a legacy BACnet device, wept. Supply fan? Now H4 wind_of_royal_command. Heating coil? H4 dragon_breath_coil. The queen of HVAC, a sysadmin with a kill -9 habit, screeched, tag those dampers red or off with their points. Chapter 3, The Trial of the Untagged Knave. The Knave of Hearts, a rogue numeric writable, stood accused of data obscurity in the first degree. Queen, sentence first. Verdict later. Alice, Law 27. Your Majesty, this knave is clearly a sacred data prophet. Execute him, and the Jabberwock will devour your histories. The courtroom erupted. The Mad Hatter reset his clock. The Dodo, a backup server, initiated a caucus race, a rebuild history command. Chaos. But we don't say that word. Chapter 4, The Griffin's Forbidden Layers. The Griffin, a tritium dev, hist, implied tags? Ha! The H4 namespace knows your sins. Alice peeked at a graphics implied properties, marker duct, obviously, TZ Wonderland, but the server's in Nebraska. Max 100, the Queen's temper has no maximum. Power move, she fed the Griffin a drink me potion, a force cache refresh, and stole its golden snark, a nearest neighbor interpolation algo. Chapter 5, The Red Queen's graphic race. Here, you see, it takes all the clicking you can do to keep in the same place, panted the Red Queen, a CPU at 100% load. Alice sprinted alongside, animated dampers with simple _foreground, green for go, red for run away. Stacked filters like a club sandwich, coarse, fine, and why is this here? Hidden the home button because true rulers don't need directions. The White Rabbit, a triggered polar, screamed, the Queen's report is due. Epilogue, Alice the uncrowned ruler with Law 32, Alice turned Wonderland's madness into her kingdom, the Mad Hatter now runs Tea Party Analytics dashboard. The Cheshire Cat is a SSL certified API. The Queen? Demoted to a read-only user. Moral, in Niagara Land, the only way to win is to out-nonsense the nonsense. Alice wakes up. It was all a dream, until she sees her workstation still flooded with null values. Curiouser and curiouser, fire the end fire, or is it? The Dormouse just triggered a rebuild history. Next topic. The Boss presents, the BACnet Heist, Smuggling Siemens points into Niagara like a pro, cue air suspension drop, turbo spooling, and the sound of a Jace booting up like it's got a warrant. Scene 1, the FT700 Plus Impala, where the magic, and mayhem, happens. Before we dive into this Niagara madness, let's talk seating arrangements, because in the world of automation, details matter more than your last failed firmware update. Leah G, riding shotgun, running the boost map, aka the BACnet discovery engine. She's the brains. Miriam McKay, back left, handling fuel trim, aka point tagging. She makes sure everything's labeled or else. Sky B, back right, managing ignition timing, aka alarm thresholds. She decides when things actually matter. The Tweedle twins, Lady Z and Sandra, trunk dwelling, controlling CAN bus comms, aka why is this Danfoss drive flapping? If your team ain't seated right, your BACnet integration is as useless as a VOB box in a hurricane. The mission, Smuggle 2,832 Siemens points into a Jace 8,000. Some poor soul thought 5,000 points would be enough. Bold move. Step 1, discover like a shadow operative hit discover on the Siemens Disigo. Watch 389 objects pop up like whack-a-mole. Filter the noise, rescales. Globals. Trash. Only bring what you need. Law 3, conceal your intentions by making Niagara think it wanted this. Step 2, enable points like a boss. Edit enable, not writing values, just observing. Like a sniper, not a grenadier. Delete the junk, X3S, YS, and whatever that HVX3 was. Gone. Power move, Law 32, play to people's fantasies. Rename points with underscores, not apostrophes. AHU 16 underscore damper sounds pro. AHU 16's damper sounds like a grammar error. Folders. A 605 underscore extract underscore fan, a 605 underscore supply underscore fan. Organized chaos. The plot twist, 7,464 points in a 5,000 point jail. The Jace 8,000 started sweating like a compressor on a July afternoon. Diagnosis, limit, 5,000 points. Reality, 7,464 points. Oops. JJ's fix, trim the fat, ditch the rescales, the globals, the maybe useful later points. Blame the client, you need more points, boss. Orchestrate chaos, prioritize. AHU's first, fan coils later. Like a bouncer at a club. Law 17, air of unpredictability. Sometimes you poll every 5 minutes. Sometimes you force trigger because patience is for HVAC techs. The grand finale, the art of the bailout. Option 1, client upgrades the Jace. Cha-ching. Option 2, JJ selectively culls points like a gardener with too many weeds. Option 3, it's a feature, not a bug. The oldest trick in the book. Moral of the story, in Niagara, you either control the points or get controlled by them. Mic drop. Turbo whistles. Exit stage left before the next alarm floods in. The boss, out. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and for Tritium Niagara Edition. Chaos and absurdity level at a solid 10. Chapter I, down the Jace hole. Alice was tinkering in the control room when a rogue pump alarm blinked red. She leaned in and suddenly, whoosh, she was pulled through the screen into the shimmering interior of the FT700 Plus Impala, the infamous supervisor display of Niagara 4. It spanked with airbag suspension and hissed like a compressed air supercharger. The dashboard glowed with BACnet Chicas ready to ride. Chapter 2, Who's in the Boots? Alice blinked and realized she was no longer alone. Leah G, shotgun rider, twisting the boost map knobs like a sorcerer summoning airflow. Miriam McKay, back left, scrawling meticulous tags onto points, each line more sharp than the last. Sky B, back right, finger poised over alarm thresholds, deciding who lives or loses. Tweedle Lady Z and Tweedle Sandra, spilled in the trunk, juggling CAN bus traffic like acrobats, every packet a secret. They sat in perfect formation, the digital engine of automation humming beneath them. Any misstep, and the whole cockpit would have spun into anarchy, but that's the point. Chapter 3, The Mismatch Protocol. Alice peered at the supervisor screen. There it was, mismatch alarms, the ultimate trickster's weapon. Fan on with no flow. Boom, you get an alarm. Flow sensed bulletin.